All right, so we'll go ahead and begin to get started. So like Ms. P said, make sure your number stories are out. Make sure you are sitting up and you can see me. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Let's play Simon Says. Simon Says, give me a thumbs up. Simon Says, touch your nose. Simon Says, touch your right eye. Your other right eye. Your other right eye. Oh, half of you are out. I didn't say Simon. All right, let's jump into it. Let's see, let me do a quick scan. So Jaden is dancing. I guess that means you're ready. Right, Arvalo? So let's show me that you're ready by sitting down and having a pencil in hand. Karen has her hand folded. It's very impressive. Scarlett is writing something very intensely. She seems like she's really focused on whatever it is that she's doing. Jaden Stewart is no longer with us. Again, if the camera is on you, make sure it's on your face. So that's Nora. Where's my good friend Abdul Haq? Please, let's fix our camera. All right. So, has anyone ever painted? Have you ever helped your parents paint, or like sibling paint, or uncle paint something in the house? You have, Cece?
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, right, for my 9th birthday, my birthday party was like painting something. Yeah.
Okay. Has anyone ever painted, like helped their parents paint around the house? Is it fun? Is it easy? Ethan?
It is easy. One time I helped paint like these walls right here.
You painted those walls in your room? It was easy?
Mm-hmm.
Justin, you're saying it's difficult?
Yeah, because I really wanted to decorate my room nice. So I had to put tape before so I could make like stripes on my walls. So I put tape before and then I started painting over it.
Ooh, so it sounds like you're a professional. Right, last one, we'll go to Haja.
I helped my parents paint these walls and the walls in the room.
You help paint those walls?
Yeah, and the walls in my room.
All right. So painting is pretty difficult, right? There's a lot of work that goes into it. You can't just take some paint and throw it on the wall. Ronnie, I see you're dying to share, so I'm gonna let you share. Go ahead, Ronnie. Ronnie, you painted the whole house? Is that some paint that we see on your chair, that red stuff that's holding your background right now? Some paint got all over the place?
That one. No.
All right, but so thank you to those that shared their experiences, right? But painting, Danny, I'll come back to you. Painting can be fun, right? I like painting because you can actually see the work you're doing. You can see the changes that you're making immediately, right? So it's hard work, but it can be fun, right? So taking a look at the problem that we have in front of us today, it is all about painting. All right, so we're talking about Mr. Long. Mr. Long wants to make the school really nice for us when we get back, right? So he's decided, so I should see everyone with their paper or tracking their paper. So let's hold it up to the screen to make sure that we're all on the same page. Oh, it looks like some of us were not there. Brian, where's your camera? Frangelise, Nora, Jaylene is showing me that she's there. Nora, please keep the camera on and sit up. Nora, do you have your number stories packet? All right, moving forward. So Mr. Long is painting the school. It takes 1/10 of a gallon of paint to paint one wall. There are 100 walls in the school. How many gallons of paint does he need to paint half of the walls? So our very first step as good mathematicians is to do what, Anthony?
Our very first step as mathematicians is interpret the question and put it in our words.
So we need to invest, we need to interpret the question and put it into our own words. So let's identify what this question is asking us, Ryan.
The question is asking us how much gallons of paint would Mr. Long need to paint like half of the walls of the school.
So let me see. Mia, do you agree with Ryan, or do you want to state it in your own words? Mia?
Can't hear you.
Mia, can you restate the question for us?
You.
Mia, can you restate the question for us?
How many gallons of paint does he need to paint half of the wall?
All right, so how many gallons of paint do we need to paint half of the walls? Okay?
How many gallons of paint does he need to paint half of the wall?
All right, thank you, Mia. All right, so we're trying to identify the amount of paint that we're going to need going forward. All right, so what is happening within this problem? I'm gonna give us the next, we'll take 15 seconds to really identify the action that's taking place within this problem, and then we'll come back. Okay, so in order to do that, you should be writing this in your own words. What is happening? What's the key information that we are given? So I see Karen is hard at work. Giselle's hard at work. So we're back in 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 and back now. Elhaj, what is actually happening in this problem?
So what's actually happening is that Mr. Long is trying to paint walls in the school, and it takes 1/10 of a gallon to paint one wall. So the question is, how many gallons would it take to paint 50 walls?
Right. So without even thinking about like the numbers within the question, tell me what's happening.
So Mr. Long is painting walls.
He's painting walls, right? Which walls? He's painting all the walls in the school. Which walls?
100.
So is he painting all 100? He's painting what is so?
He's painting
what
half.
Portion? He's painting
half of it.
Right, he's painting half of the walls. Okay. So now, in terms of the paint, what do we know? What do we know that Mr. Long will need, Giselle?
So we know that 1 gallon is a paint. If you're painting a wall, you use 1 gallon.
Is that the case? You use a full gallon for each wall? Hold on, Giselle.
1/10 of a gallon.
1/10 of a gallon. Zainab, you had your hand up.
I was gonna say 1/10 of a gallon as well.
So we know that Mr. Long, he's going to be painting, right, half of the walls that the school has, right? And for each wall, right, we're using a portion of a gallon. Go ahead, Mensa.
Wait, I was gonna say that I had the packet about the apples.
All right, do you have the packet that we were working on yesterday?
Yeah, this is the packet, the number stories packet, the one about apples. This is for Wednesday.
The packet that we were working on yesterday, the packet that has the questions about the basketball game from Monday and the cupcakes from Tuesday. That's the packet that you should have in front of you. Okay. All right. So now our question for the day. Let's start here. So what I want everyone to do, give me a fist to chest, or actually just put your fist in the air like this so I can see. Waiting on a few. Brian, change your background. Melvin, I can't see your hand. I need to see everybody's hand. Scarlett is showing me. Jaden Stewart, I need to see. Abdul Haq, you are absent. All right, so my question is, in order to paint half of the walls in the school, will Mr. Long need, okay, so Ms. P, before we do that, Ms. P just asked a question in the chat. Does everyone?
I'm sorry, but it was poorly timed.
No, it's fine. Does
Okay.
everyone have that?
It seems like everyone that's messaging me has the right one. So you can stop messaging me now. 90% of us have the right one. So I was just making sure.
So back to fist in the air. Cece, show me. Anthony, show me. Casey, a little higher. Right, so will Mr. Long need more? Show me thumbs up for more, thumbs down for less. More or less than 100 gallons of paint? Will he need more or less than 100 gallons of paint? Scarlett, why do you say more?
I say more because there are 100 walls in the school, and he's gonna need more than 100 gallons of paint, because then if he has less than 100 gallons of paint, he won't paint all the 100 walls.
So let's address the first part of Scarlett's reasoning. Is Mr. Long painting all the walls in the school, Kaylin?
No, he's not painting all the walls. He's only
What portion of the walls is he painting, Kaylin?
he's only painting half of the walls.
Okay, so Scarlett, where'd you go? What portion of the walls will Mr. Long be painting?
He's gonna be painting 1/10 of the wall.
What fraction of the walls will he be painting? Of the total 100 walls, what fraction of that 100 will he be painting?
100.
So let's read the problem again, right? So there are 100 walls in the school. How many gallons of paint does he need to paint half of the wall? So what portion of the walls will he be painting?
50.
Well, he's painting half, right? That's the portion,
Yeah.
that's the fraction of the walls that he'll be painting. All right. So someone who said he'd be using less than 100 gallons of paint, who would like to share their reasoning? Someone who said less than 100 gallons. Kaylin, I'll come back to you.
So I think he's gonna use less than 100 gallons, because it's not like he needs a whole gallon for each wall. He only needs 1/2 of gallon for the walls that he's painting.
Well, how many gallons does he need per wall, Kaylin?
A 1/10.
1/10 of a gallon per wall. Okay, thank you, Kaylin. So what does that mean? Kaylin's saying he needs 1/10 of a gallon. So what does that mean in terms of, like, let's really try to visualize this. Audra, go ahead.
So basically, he has like a bunch of gallons. He has 50 walls to paint, and so then he wants to, and so for each wall he has 1/10. So for one wall, 1/10. For another wall, another 10. Another wall. So basically, he keeps on going.
Let me pause you right there, Audra. Right, so this sounds a lot like our problem from yesterday, right, Benaya?
Yes.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say that they're only gonna need like half of 1 gallon to fill up all the walls.
So we don't know exactly what portion of or how much paint they'll need so far, but I think we've all come to the understanding that it's gonna be less than 100 gallons, right? Because we're using a fraction of paint for each wall. As I think it was Kaylin said it, we're not using a full gallon of paint per wall, right? So what we are going to do now, I'm going to type in our key look-fors before we break out into our groups. So as always, right, we want to make sure that we have our number sentences written correctly. Okay, a lot of us in our conversation, we were able to identify exactly how many walls we would be painting, but I still want us to make sure that we don't forget about the 100 total walls in the school. Okay, well, we need to include that in our number sentence, right? So number sentence that matches the work or the story and your work. You also need to have, and again, I'm putting these in the chat, your work needs to be labeled and organized. Okay. You need to have this is definitely a problem with this Jukin model, right? A tape diagram sort of model or any sort of visual that you can connect to this problem. Right? And also you need to be checking your work. These are the key look fors, right? If you have solved the problem already, one, you should not be working on the problem while we are speaking as a class. Two, please just hold on to your answer until we get to our breakout rooms, right? So we are going to go into our rooms now.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, Claire.
Hi.
Okay. I'm going to give us 5 minutes to go ahead and solve this problem. If you've already solved it, I want you to come up with another strategy that you can use. Haja, different strategy. Brian, pencil to paper. Once you drink your water, pencil to paper. Nice job, Claire. Elhaj? Yes.
I already finished.
I said different strategy if you've already finished.
How am I supposed to do that?
What do you mean, how are you supposed to do that? Find another strategy that can work by checking your work. You know how to do that. I'm giving us 2 more minutes, so at 1:28, I'm checking work. Haja. Yes, Akia. Once it lets me unmute you.
I finished. And I did 2 strategies.
Okay, can I see it?
Okay.
So it's hard for me to see.
I did 100 over 1 times 1/10, which is equal to 100 over 10, and then I got 10 gallons. Then I did 10 gallons divided by 2 because
Okay, great. And then what was the other strategy?
and then I did 50 over 1 times 1/10, which is equal to 50 over 10. And I got 5 gallons.
Okay, great. Thank
That's
you.
the
Akia. Haja.
So for my first idea, I did 1/10 times 100 over 10, and I got 100 over 10. And then I got 10 gallons, and then I did 10 gallons divided by 2, and I got 5 gallons. And then for my second strategy, I did 1/10 times 10, and I got 1. 1/10 times 10, 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 I got 1. And then I added all the ones, and I got 5.
Got it. Thank you, Haja. Elhaj?
So what I did was that I did 1/10 times 100 at first, and I got I did 1/10 times 100, and then I got 100 over 10. No, actually, what I did was I did 1/10 times 50. Then I got 50 over 10. Then I simplified it, and then I got 5.
Okay. Oh, so wait, you got 50 over 10?
Yeah, and then
How did you get 50 over 10? How did you do that again?
because I did 1/10 times 50 over 1.
1/10 times 50 over 1. How did you know that it was 50?
I knew it was 50 because it said that Mr. Long needed to paint half of the walls. So half of 100 is 50.
Okay. Thanks, Alhaj. Is anybody using a model? Is there any way that we can find a way to use a model? Claire, what did you do? Oh, I'm trying to unmute you. Go ahead.
For my model, I put up 100. I put 100, and then I put slash like 50 because I knew that half of 100 was 50, and then I put one wall, which is a square, and then I did times 1/10.
Can I see it?
I was gonna do it.
Well, you didn't do it.
I'm gonna draw it right now.
Okay, yeah, let's see it. Brian, how did you solve?
Oh, I just put it like an equation.
Yep, but what did you do? Let's see. Let me hear.
I did 1/10 times 100
Mm-hmm.
100 over 1, and then I multiplied 100 times 1, which is 100, and then 10 times 1, which is 10, and I know that equals to 10.
Mm-hmm. Great. So what was your answer, Brian?
10.
No, because he's not painting every wall. Double check. Danny, what'd you do?
So I did 1/10 equals 1 wall. So since I know that 1/10 equals 1 wall, I did 10/10 equals 1 gallon and it equals 10 walls. So I did 10/10 times 5 and I got 50/10 and that equals 5 gallons and that equals 50 walls.
Okay, so you said you knew that 1/10 equals 1 wall.
Mm-hmm.
So then 10/10 equals 10 walls.
And 1 gallon.
10 walls and 1 gallon of paint. And then, so then you did 10 walls plus 10 walls.
And I got 5 gallons.
Okay, awesome. Good work, Danny. Danny, I feel like online learning is just your jam. Maybe this is where you shine. I don't know. Claire, go ahead.
I finished drawing my wall.
Let me see.
First, I drew a wall and I put times 50 because
Mm-hmm.
that's how much walls there are. He's gonna paint, and then I put 1 wall equals 1/10 gallon of paint.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you, Claire. We're gonna come back in a second. Frangelis, where you at? Frangelis, what'd you do? Frangelis.
I did.
Where are you? Oh,
I did.
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
What I did was that I had, once I put 150 walls and like put for a 1, and I multiplied that and put that and got 50/10, and I know that it was 10 times 10 can go there into 55 times.
Mm-hmm.
So I got 5 gallons.
Okay.
and so then my final answer.
Okay. Thanks, Frangelis. So when I checked on Simon, how did you do? Simon, what'd you do?
I did it in like fractions.
Okay. How'd you do it?
First I like wrote 1 wall equals 1/10 of a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
And then since he wanted to paint 100 walls in the entire school, I knew that 1 wall was equal to 1/10. That means that 10 walls would be 1. So then that means that 10 walls would be 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then if 10 walls was 1 gallon, then I did. At first I got 100 over 1,000, but then I checked my work and that was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did 1 wall, so that would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100.
But he's only, okay, sorry, go ahead.
And then that would be equal to 5 because 1 wall equals 1/10 of a gallon.
Okay, awesome. Great. Thank you, Simon. Yes, Brian. Brian, how did you fix it? Where are you? Go ahead, Brian.
How I fixed it was that I read the problem again,
Mm-hmm.
and then I figured out that it said half of the walls, so then I divided it 10 by 2 to get 5.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thanks, Brian. Haja, you need to stop chatting because then you're chatting with me and so it's not working. Yes. Okay, since most of us are done, since we're all done actually, we're gonna go into the whole group in like a few minutes, so. Danny, I think we are gonna share your strategy whole group. If you have anything, any work to be working on, you can do that now.
You hear this cat sneezing?
Okay. So it looks like most of us are back. So before we start sharing out our strategies, first let's make sure that we are not moving around. Abdullah, please put the camera on your face. Abdullah, every class we're having to say the same thing. Nora, same goes for you. You should not be laying down. Please sit up and let us see you and your work. Okay. Jada. All right. So I heard a lot of good things in my group. I heard a lot of good things from the other groups. So great job. I feel like we are definitely getting used to our new normal, and we are we're making progress. So excellent job to all of you. So we're going to start sharing out strategies. So before we do that, let's make sure that we're all focused. We're paying attention to the screen just as we would in the classroom, and give our classmates our full attention. So we started with my group yesterday, so we'll start with a different group today. I think we'll start with Ms. P's group, Danny Martinez. I think his strategy was pretty interesting and effective. So Danny, I'm going to spotlight your video. Can you hold up your work to the camera for us? Get it a little closer. So there you go, right there, that's fine. Can you back up a little so we can see your number sentence as well? Okay, you might have to come closer. I'm sorry, it got blurry. And a little to your right. There you go. Other right, maybe your left. Slide down. Down. Slide it down. All right, right there. All right, Danny, can you talk us through? Let's see if we can unmute you. Can you unmute yourself? Because it's not really. All right,
Danny, go ahead.
Thanks, Sophie.
So for my problem, I did was that since I knew that 1/10 of paint would be one wall, I also knew that 10/10 is 1 gallon and that would be 10 walls. So I decided to do 10/10 times 5, and that got me 50/10, and I knew that 50/10 is also equivalent to 5 gallons of paint, and that's also equal to 50 walls. So, and we also know that since he's not painting the whole school, he's painting half of the wall, he needed to do 100 divided by 2, and that is 50. So I knew that my answer was 50/10 or 5 gallons of paint.
So it looks like you found some sort of pattern there. Is that what happened? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jaden Arevalo, I'm gonna allow you to. You said that you had a similar strategy, so I'm gonna let you speak. Go ahead. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Jaden, unmute the. All right, you're spotlighted now, Jaden. Can you unmute your camera? Can you share your connection with Danny's strategy, please, quickly?
Okay, so my strategy was very similar to Danny's because I also did
Can you show us?
Okay. Okay. It's like this. It's very I don't know how to do it, but I don't know how to say it, but it was like that. Yeah.
So you found the pattern that Danny found as well?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, any questions, any comments for Danny's strategy? On Danny's strategy? Any other connections to Danny's strategy?
Good job.
Okay, Jaden, you can mute yourself. Thank you. All right, so let's move forward for the sake of time on to our next sharer, presenter, Giselle. I don't know why, when I spotlight it, I can't unmute the video for some reason. Giselle, can you unmute yourself? Can anyone unmute Giselle?
I'm trying. Oh, I got it. Yep. Go ahead, Giselle.
All right.
You can hear me, guys?
Yes, go ahead, Giselle.
Okay. So for my strategy, I use my knowledge of fractions because so
Can you
basically,
show us?
yeah. So it's a little messy, but for mine, I did 10 boxes and then I put 1/10 in each one because if we do 10 times.
What do 10 boxes represent, Giselle?
The 10 boxes like one box represents one wall. So if it was 10, it would be 10 walls.
So if you had 10 walls, you'd have how much paint?
It would be 1 gallon.
1 gallon. Can you hold your paper up again so we can see?
So I did that 5 times because if I do 10, that's 50 walls, and then I counted it, and that's 5. So that's 5 gallons.
So you first were able to identify how much went into 10 walls. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Zainab, can you tell me what she was able to do after?
She was able to make it into 50, so that means that she now had 5 gallons.
How was she able to turn that 10 into, what did she notice between the relationship between the 10 walls and the 50 walls?
Because she knows that if you add 10 5 times, then that'll get you 50.
So if she adds 10s to itself 5 times, that would get her 50. Okay, so Nazifa, what do you think about Giselle's strategy? Do you think it was efficient?
I think it was kind of efficient, but like it will take up a little bit more time than other strategies. But I think it was still more efficient.
So I think Giselle's strategy is really like efficient just because we were able to see, right? We kind of had the ability to see the walls, whereas Danny's was really efficient as well because he noticed that pattern similar to Giselle's, and both him and Jaden were able to move quickly. And we have 2 minutes left, so I know a lot of us use the algorithm. So Zainab, I'm gonna let you share your algorithm.
Okay.
Can you hold up your paper?
Or can I do this?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. So first I did 10 minus 50 because I know that half of 100 is 50, and that got me 50. So then I multiplied 50 by 1/10, and that got me 50
Why?
10. Because I know that it takes 1/10 of a gallon of paint to paint one wall. And that got me 50 tenths, and I converted that, and it got me 5 gallons.
5 gallons. Okay, so it looks like all of us were able to get to the same point, and I think the majority of us within our groups were able to do that today. And we just saw like 3 different strategies, 3 different ways to do it. One model, one was just able to find a pattern, and the other just used the algorithm. So again, we can see the connection between the different methods, and we see some kind of they mix in with one another. How going forward, I think that I know in my group, I definitely want to see us labeling our work more, and also labeling our steps in the process. I didn't see a lot of us identifying what the 50 represented. So like, let's make sure that we're putting our units. If there were 50 walls, right, 1/10 gallon of paint. Okay, make sure we're identifying those small things so that we can visualize that problems. All right, we're gonna go into our going to go into our next break now. Before we leave, make sure, some of us still have to be called for our independent reading homework. Make sure that you are available to answer the call. If there's a specific number you want your advisor to call you on, please type it to us in the chat. That way we can get to you immediately. Other than that, enjoy your 30 minutes, do your homework. If you want, get ahead. That way you don't have to do anything after class today.